anymore. Look, let's just quit while we're ahead. Sue indiscriminately, thank you.
No worries, Miles, and I think you should take a break.
You did that on purpose, didn't you?
Maybe I did, Miles. And maybe it's Maybelline.
The Jack app.
Please leave your message after the tone.
I was all for the big society at first, but now they've started firing people from the army. I'm not so sure. Looking after a library is one thing, but I'm not giving up every second Thursday to fight the Taliban.
I think it's shameful the army laid me off by email. I got the news on my iPhone, so it's not as if I lacked the application.
I can't believe the cuts to the RAF. Soon there won't be enough pilots left not to land the planes we haven't got on the aircraft carriers we've just scrapped.
I'm sorry, but who died amid Colin Firth King?
As anybody who lives near San Andreas will agree, America has its faults. And because America is a big place, and some of its residents are small thinkers, Newsjack now joins its sister network from across the pond, Newsfox.
Newsfox.
Red, white, and news.
You're listening to Newsfox, imprisoning current events until they give us the information we need.
Sports fans across America welcome the announcement of the 2012 Olympic Games schedule this week. The games are being held in the South Bow Bells of Dick Van London. We join our correspondent Chuck live at the Olympic Village. Chuck, what can you see?
I can see Team USA storming to victory, America winning gold after gold, the world saluting the stars and stripes. God, I love America!
Chuck there, live from Cranford in Notting Hill.
Newsfox.
We love the smell of news in the morning. In entertainment news, the BAFTAs were held on Sunday in the UK capital, the West End. Here's CJ Sparkle with the Newsfox rundown of the big winners.
Thanks! I can tell you there were no big winners, as the BAFTAs don't matter. But join me for the Oscars on February 27th.
Thanks, CJ. Good work.
Newsfox.
The News-Spangled Banner. Next up, the hammer and sickle-wielding NHS came under fire this week for letting down old people in the United States of Kingdom. But does America treat its elderly any better? We're joined on the phone by Biddy, a patient at Houston General. Hi, Biddy. Biddy, I understand your health insurance has just run out. Oh, we seem to have lost Biddy there, but we'll try and get her back before the end of the show.
Newsfox.
In the headline of fire, God bless America. God bless Newsfox.
Newsfox.
Well, this will be our church's first same-sex marriage, so it's extremely exciting. Tell me, what made you choose it?
Well, the previous vicar suggested it, really.
Ah, yes, Father Henderson worked in this church for 50 years. He's even buried under us in the crypt. What did he say to you?
He said we could have a gay marriage in this church over his dead body.
Well, if it's what he would have wanted.
When David Cameron tells the world he's got a new four-legged friend, your first thought is it's probably down to all that upper-class inbreeding. In fact, Cameron has a new cat in number 10. Larry has been brought in to tackle the Downing Street rat problem and to give Nick Clegg someone to talk to. But how does a prime ministerial cat get appointed? Over now to our pomp and circumstance correspondent, Barbara Manhans.
You join us now in the exquisite calico room of Buckingham Palace as Larry the Downing Street cat, resplendent in the finest tortoiseshell, performs the ceremonial licking of the monarch's hand. And Her Majesty beckons Larry forward using the traditional squeaky mouse used since Tudor times. Larry, of course, replacing the scores of cats strangled, squashed or thrown at AIDS during the premiership of Gordon Brown. Now, Larry formally asks to become First Chancellor, and Her Majesty nods in agreement in the time-honoured fashion as... Oh dear. Oh, that is a shame. He's started licking himself right there on the carpet. That is unfortunate, though probably to be expected from a man the Duke of Edinburgh's age.
Staff at Shotts Prison in Scotland have been ordered to apologise to a prisoner they caught with methadone in his cell due to the search not following correct procedure. Joining us is Governor Stephanie Campbell. You must be outraged by this decision.
Not at all, no. We welcome the ruling and are doing everything in our power to make drug searches fairer for prisoners. For example, before starting a search, all prison officers must now count to 100 and shout, "Coming, ready or not," before entering.
What about surprise searches?
Any staff wishing to undertake a surprise search need to sound the official warning alarm before commencing, like this.
Warning! Warning! We're about to conduct a surprise search!
Right, I can't help thinking that this new policy is favouring the prisoners somewhat.
Not at all, Miles. From now on, all room searches will be completed in the style of the Anglia TV show Nightmare, with 2 policemen in a different room guiding an officer through the search by shouting left, left, forward, right.
This all seems absolutely ridiculous. I can't understand why you'd agree to such insane proposals.
Well, since introducing the new policy, we do have the lowest rate of drug use of any prison in the country, which means I get a huge performance-related bonus.
So you might say there's methadone in your madness.
Exactly.
The Jack app.
Please leave your message after the tone.
I'm not sorry to see legal aid go. It were a rubbish soft drink.
I don't think implanting a camera in your head makes you an artist. I once stuck a piece of Lego up my nose. Didn't make me a builder.
I don't understand why people are shocked that sumo wrestling is fixed. It's always been pretty obvious to me, at least, that those aren't real babies.
Tonight on Channel 4 at 8, we continue with our groundbreaking series, My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding, followed at 9 by a new series, My Incompetent Stupid Polish Builder. Then at 10, another episode of My Thieving Romanian Babysitter. And finally, at midnight, the concluding part of our thought-provoking ratings hit, All Muslims Are Terrorists. That's Channel 4, turning racism into light entertainment 24 hours a day.
As part of an NHS trial, expectant mothers can be taught the basic techniques of hypnosis before giving birth. Because if there's one thing that could take your mind off the pain of labour, it's the mother to be barking like a dog or thinking her face is made of spam. Good grief. With me are NHS hypnotherapists Hannah Lewis and Louise Phillips.
Hello,
Miles. Hi.
Hypnobirthing, does it work?
Oh, yes. The theory behind hypnobirthing is that 95% of labour pain is due to fear and tension, which we believe could be eliminated through... Sorry, wait. It's okay. Shh, shh, shh. It's okay. Don't cry. Shh. I'm sorry, Miles.
There's nothing there.
Yes. Well, you see, Miles, hypnobirthing may eliminate 95% of labour pain, but not giving birth would mean there was no pain at all. So I've hypnotised Hannah into thinking she's had a child. Painless.
What? Is this allowed?
Oh, it's ideal. For one thing, with an imaginary child, you don't need to go through all of those anxieties about the right way to bring it up, should it be bottle or breastfed? Although, to be honest, both look pretty weird to the passerby.
But isn't the mother going to notice one day?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, we'll have to tell her eventually, but we'll pick the right moments.
When on earth will that be?
Oh, when she thinks she has to stump up 27 grand to send it to university.
Anna Lewis and Louise Phillips, thank you. Former Governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger, has announced he intends to return to acting. Acting, so that's what he calls it. Some critics say the star, now aged 65, is far too old for big blockbuster movies, but as Hollywood continues to remake British classics, Newsjack may have the perfect role for Arnie as an elderly action hero.
In a world torn apart by war, all hope lies with an elite unit of soldiers. A last line of resistance must stem the tide of destruction, and only one man can lead them. Arnold Schwarzenegger is Captain Mannering.
Who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Hitler? We are the boys who will stop your little game.
Newsjack Pictures presents Dad's Army, Home Guard with a Vengeance.
Mr. Hitler, I'll be back.
Featuring Jean-Claude Van Damme as the Verger and Dolph Lundgren as Private Pike.
Don't tell them your name, Pike. Do it now!
With Bruce Willis as Corporal Jones, Don't panic, Mr. Mannering. Yippee-ki-yay.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your butcher's delivery van.
Another thrilling action picture from the people who brought you Steven Seagal and Sylvester Stallone in Only Fools and Horses, Full Throttle. When the world goes up in flames, the only people tough enough to pick up the pieces are Dad's Army.
Hasta la vista, you stupid boy!
Mistakes are like models of Tracy Island. If you make one on television, people will remember you forever. With that in mind, here are some mistakes we made earlier, along with some corrections.
The Vatican have issued a statement denying all knowledge of the confessional app reported last week. They claim to have been the victim of an immaculate deception.
Last week, during a report on the financial mess they've got us in, we said that the newspaper of choice for bankers was called Theft. We did, of course, mean the FT.
And Buckingham Palace has asked us to make it clear that at no point did the Queen think The One Show was about her. Good night.
Newsjack starred Miles Jupp, Margaret Caborn-Smith, Lewis MacLeod and Pippa Evans. For a full list of writers, go to bbc.co.uk/programmes/Newsjack. The producer was Katie Terrell.
You've been listening to the Archive Comedy Hour on BB Murdoch Sky C7. The episode of Newsjack you've just heard was first broadcast in February 2011, in a week when Hosni Mubarak finally agreed to relinquish power in Egypt. It would be a few months before we heard from him again, when his popularity soared after he finished second to Lee from Blue on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. This was also the week when the then Prince Harry began planning the Royal Stag Night, thereby setting in motion the shocking chain of events which over the course of 24 fateful hours would see him become king. Next, on Radio 7, former Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi reads from his collected politico-philosophical works, Girls, Girls, Girls.
Well, fun lovers, we hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Newsjack from BBC Radio 7. For the full range of other BBC podcasts, visit www.bbc.co.uk/podcasts.